Hi marketing leader, today I want to tell you why solving web design challenges offline actually rocks. You might be thinking, David, what do you mean offline? It's a website, it's online, you can't do anything offline about it, please give me a break. Well, you would be wrong because we have been doing that for years now and I will tell you all about it. But first let me tell you what inspired me to make that video. So here I have a little book by Steven Johnson and it's called Where Good Ideas Come From, The 7 Patterns of Innovation. And I think the quote from Independent really describes the book, reviews the books really well, and it says one word: inspirational. In short, that book explains how we get our ideas, how the biggest inventions happened in the past, even thousands of years in the past, and that it wasn't that eureka moment that you think, oh, an apple falls on my head and suddenly I have that invention. No, it's really a network of connections, random, seemingly unrelated ideas that play into the final outcome, sometimes even years after that idea started. Just to give you one example, I don't want to dwell on that book too long because it's not exactly the topic. The first concept of a computer appeared probably like 60 years before the first physical computer device, the huge one, was invented, right? Someone had that idea, but they had it at the wrong time. They were ahead of their time, and as such, the idea was kind of fruitless because they couldn't execute on that. So that's just one example of how those ideas come together, how many aspects come into an invention. And I guess just let me stay on the topic of the books a little longer. I have two by Austin Kleon, I believe. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. So one is Still Like an Artist and one is Keep Going. And there's a third one, but I haven't got my hands on it just yet. And they are similar. They talked about creative work, and let's face it, web design, building websites, even writing content, even marketing, that's really creative stuff. And so those books got me thinking. They talk about solving problems offline. In an essence, we have been doing that for years, so it wasn't that new to me, but I've had some revelations, let's say, that I'd like to tell you all about. So first thing that happens when you get offline is you remove distractions, right? You often hide behind your computer and you say, oh, I'm researching, I'm doing X, Y, Z. Well, that's helpful. I've just mentioned that innovation comes from tons of different ideas and going online exposes you to those ideas, but you really need to tune them out at some point before they just become a mess. And going offline is really awesome. You have a piece of paper and a pen and that's it, and you're obviously your brilliant brain. I suggest you try it some minutes a day first, maybe a couple hours a week. If you have a task that you would usually do online, just take a piece of paper, take a pen, write it down. Even if you have to write it back into the computer later on, you will see the difference. You will see how different you feel, and you will see that you might even become more productive. Even though you have that overhead of typing it back into the computer, you will see that sometimes it's just much easier if you separate digital and offline worlds. So the second thing is that while ideas happen when you have a lot of input, at some point you have too much and you're thwarting your own creativity, right? Ideas and inputs are great, but you still need that creativity. That's the reason why the AI is probably never going to replace us, let's face it. You need your own creativity to flourish. You need to doodle, maybe write something down. It doesn't matter that you can't even draw a stick man. I can't do it either, but I still will doodle a little bit, and that will just spark ideas, give me more context. I'll just feel so much better and I will get to my goal much quicker. Honestly, give it a go. Just try for a few weeks, and if it doesn't work, let me know. I'll be surprised if it doesn't, but please don't hesitate, drop it in the comments if you hate me for that tip in a week. And third thing, I think probably the most important one and what we are missing from our lives and our businesses is fun. You do creative stuff, why do you make it boring? Why do you limit yourself to a spreadsheet like old docs, docx? Just please go back to basics, go back to pen and paper, whiteboards, drawing, doodling, having those ideas is a lot of fun. Make it fun and you will see how it benefits you. What happens when you force yourself into that spreadsheet world and all of that, those rules, those digital frameworks? is that you will hate it at some point. And what happens when we hate something? We become, well, maybe not lazy, but we want to get there from point A to B in a straight line, as fast as possible, as simple as possible, and we will cut corners to get there, let's face it. So if you hate what you are doing, if you're not convinced that it's the best way and you keep doing it online, go offline and you will see that it might even give you better results. Even if you thought you can't do it offline, give it a go. Think about a way to do it without looking into the computer, close it, shut it down, just sit, just you, maybe a pen, a paper, a whiteboard, and just try. So number 4, a bit about how we do it. So we usually solve big challenges, big website challenges during workshops. So we get together with clients and we have fun exercises which are so productive. We still get tons of input, don't get me wrong, we are not trying to eliminate that. We are not isolating people, no. We are just not doing it on the internet, we are just focusing on what matters. We are here in the moment with them. We draw, we doodle, we sketch, we place sticky notes, even on the wall, whatever. You can take it off later. It's a lot of fun and it helps align the team tremendously. So as you can see, it doesn't only work when you're alone, you can do it with others as well. Maybe ditch the Zoom meeting. I mean, if you have 10 people in the office and 2 remotely, maybe you don't need them. To be honest, you probably never even need 10 people in a meeting. Let's face it, meetings suck. Nobody wants to be in there. 5 of those people sit there just picking their nose, they're just not listening and they're just wasting time, and at the end of the meeting you will say, okay, let's follow up on that next week on another meeting. How lovely, we all want to be there, right? Again for another hour. Don't do it, go offline, do something creative, and let's see how that changes things for you. Okay, number 5, last one, my favorite, snacks. So when we do workshops, we have snacks, and there are a few rules about snacks, and I will drop them in the descriptions. We have a link to a blog article about snacks for Design Sprint, which is the workshop that we are using. But snacking is really great, it really brings everyone together. When you think about the ancient times, what was the #1 entertainment method in the tribes? The families and the villages were coming together for a feast, right? Even in medieval ages, kings threw feasts for their guests, even from the peasants, let's say it. So that was #1 attraction, and to this day it's still fun. Don't you love going out with someone you like and eating and maybe talking about cool stuff? Why not translate that to your work? Make it creative, make it fun, again going back to the 3rd note, and bring snacks. I think you might be familiar with the concept of sugar crash. When you eat sweets, after an hour or 2 you begin to snooze off, you just want to go to sleep, you have no energy, you need more sugar, and then the next crash will be even worse. So be mindful of that. That's a little bit of a spoiler about the blog article that I have below, because it's all about the healthy snacks like nuts, some fruit. So be careful, because fructose is also a sugar and it will also make it possible to have a sugar crash. But stuff like that, yogurt, some pretzels maybe. Dark chocolate is great as well. If you have a long day like our workshop, in the second half of the day you can absolutely have dark chocolate. There's a lot of sugar in it, of course, but you will need that energy when it's a longer day. So at the end of the day you will need it. Maybe at 2-3 p.m. have a bit of dark chocolate, nothing crazy, but just to refill your energy. And that's really it. I hope it brings positive change to you, because it's really been enlightening for me, reading those books, even those processes that we came up with and tweaked, and the inspiration that we got from AJ and Smart about Design Sprint and all of those wonderful workshops. Please give it a go, make your work life a bit more fun, and trust me, it will make it more productive. And that's really it. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Ideally, try it for a week, 2, a month maybe. If you have a large team, maybe try it with just a couple of people. Try one workshop, an hour workshop. If you need that, we have a great article about Lightning Decision Gem, which is a 1-hour workshop, and we'll link that below as well. Again, have fun with it and let me know how it goes. Cheers!